always had something that I was doing on the side. Follow your passions. I actually think that's bullshit, right? What is it that I actually do? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's looking a little bit different around here, isn't it, people? Very different. I'm in my fancy dweller swivel chair today. I hope you guys like it. And we are in my office, and I thought it would be nice to come and give you guys a little bit of a tour of my new office space, because so many people were asking me about it in the vlog that I last did, and I thought I would answer all your questions on what do I do, as well as just give you guys a little bit of tips and tricks into maybe doing your own thing, and my advice and my experience of being self-employed. So firstly, I'm going to give you a tour of my office, and I'm gonna chat it through while just dropping bits of my office because it will just make it easier. So I mentioned in my vlog that I have a shared working space, which is really cool for creative people or people who work in tech, and there's lots of working desks and stuff, but I have my own office inside this place, and I have about 3 people who work for me, but it can go all the way up to 6 if I have interns and that kind of thing. Now, I really wanted to have this office decorated like I like it and to suit me, but I wanted it to be kind of YouTubey, but also, kind of tech spacey. So I'm going to show you some of the bits and bobs that I have that I really like. So number one, you guys can probably see my wall behind me. The guys at Dizino are my favorite, as you guys know. They have got the best prints on the internet. They're so affordable and they're so stylish, and I basically go on the website and work out how I want. I just copy the website design basically to look at how I want my images to be laid out, because there's so many prints to choose from. It can even be a bit overwhelming, but if you're someone who's super creative and knows your color scheme, you can find prints however you want. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a massive fan of them. I've got their prints all over my house, in my loft room, which you guys have seen. So yeah, Dizino prints are number one at the back of me. And then I got my kind of boss desk area, which is my chair and my desk, which are both from Dwell. And I felt like I wanted my own separate special desk that was white and glossy, and just had that kind of vibe that was a little bit more, here I am. But the thing about this desk, it's really cool for me to do my makeup on, for me to work on, and I just put everything on it. It's big enough to put all my notebooks and all my letters and all my pens and all my makeup and everything on the desk, but without feeling crowded. And I have my laptop and all that other stuff in it as well, so I'm a massive fan of it. And then I just have this storage unit, which I just put bits and bobs, and to be honest, I just wanted it to look nice, which is why I've got a Tom Ford box and a light. And for those of you guys who don't know, I obviously do YouTube and I do lots of makeup, and I receive a lot of product, and I found that for me, having my house filled with product really wasn't something that was going to work for me in the long run. So I have this unit which I feel is the best makeup storage ever, and I have a system of how I work out what's new, what's not, what should I try, what should I test, and this way I've been able to do way more tutorials of newer in products to basically give them a try, because I've been wanting to do that more and more, but I just never got round to doing it. But I love the way this unit kind of zigzags and crosses over. It looks really cool. And then in the middle, I have a desk which fits 8 people. So there's been times where we've had 7. I think we've had 7 people here all at once, and it's just a nice little co-working space. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the time I sit on the desk in the middle as well, because I like to be part of the team. But I love the fact that everyone can work together and shout across the table. And then I also have this really nice hope sign, and everyone basically calls us the hopefuls, and they thought our company was called Hope when people walk past, because you can kind of see in and stuff. So yeah, that is my office space. I love the big windows, I love the exposed brick, and I love the fact that we are in an area that I really love and is super up and coming. It's not majorly posh or anything, but it's super up and coming. The mayor came and visited the office. I was so mad. I wasn't here, but where we are is really growing. It's the new tech city of the South, and to get into this place first was just absolutely amazing. I will link everything that I've got that I've shown in this video in the description bar below, so you guys can check that out. But yeah, that is what I've got. But I wanted to do something that was a little bit more helpful and give you guys some insight into what it is that I actually do, as well as some tips and tricks on, you know, starting your own business or working for yourself or just making some extra moolah, because I know that is what lots of people want to know, and I get so many questions on it. So I'm going to answer some of the questions that I have been sent and asked on many occasions. So number one, what is it that I actually do? Well, darlings, I am a jack of all trades. No, not really. I do YouTube, of course. As you guys see, you watch me on YouTube, and if you didn't know, obviously people do make incomes and really good livings on YouTube, and the way they do that is by making AdSense revenue, which is when you get like an ad that plays before the video and on the side and on the bottom, as well as doing collaborations or sponsored posts or ad posts on their YouTube or their social media content, and by having their own products. So that might be ebooks or t-shirts or hair extensions or footwear or accessories, and that's basically it. On the side of having obviously my YouTube channel, I then have a hair extensions business, which is Y Hair Company, hey, which I started about 8 months ago, and is doing amazingly. I try not to, you know, push product or push it in your face, but obviously that's what I wear all the time, and I love it, and it's my baby, and it's amazing, and yeah, it makes me so happy. And if you guys know anything, I'm like literally in love with hair, always have been, so it was inevitable that I was going to go down that route. And I also work with brands doing lots of consulting outside of the stuff that you guys see on YouTube as well. So that's basically it. Now that's not all I want to do. I want to do so much more. I've got like a to-do list as big as this, but I do lots of different things, and that's what I do. And I'm totally of the mindset that it is, you can live very well if you have multiple streams of income. And even when I had a job, or I always had a job, I always had something that I was doing on the side, because I was that kind of person, you know, like I am bored. I come home at the end of the day or the weekends, and I'm the kind of person like, what work could I be doing? What could I be creating? What ideas do I have? What ideas do I want to bring to life? Because I feel like life is all about creation, and if you're not creating, what are you doing? And that might be creating life or creating beauty or creating food or creating happiness, but I'm all about like constant creation. If you're not progressing, you're walking backwards, and you guys know that about me. So I get loads of questions from people asking, how do you start your own business? How do I start my own business? How do I work for myself? How did you do it? And I ain't got the answers, but I'm gonna try and share with you some of the insights and, you know, some of the things I think that are really useful for anybody who's a bit worried about doing their own thing or just doesn't have a clue on how to start or even what to start. So I actually wrote a blog post, which is on patriciabright.co.uk, on how to start your own business, or the 4 things they don't tell you in school, which I think is quite a useful read. So if you want to pop over there, you can definitely do that. So I think when it comes to deciding on what you actually want to do, I think the best thing to do is to follow your passions. I actually think that's bullshit, right? I actually think that follow your passion is just the dumbest thing ever. Because if I be honest with you, my passion is watching Netflix, eating food, and chilling with my family. That is my passion. Having a chinwag over coffee, my passion. However, I get it, and I think it's important to align passion to skill, and then where can you add value into the world or add value into the lives of people around you. So there's things that you like, but do you think that there's a way to bring that to people in a way that they'd be willing to pay for it? So something like YouTube, it's an entertainment platform. We entertain you with our lives or with our information, or we inspire you with our style or our pics, and we give you ideas, and that is what we do. And you know, if I am consulting, what I do is I give my knowledge on something to people who want it, and then they pay for that service. And if it's my hair extensions company, it's because I felt like there was a gap in the market for simple buying of hair extensions. So I think it's important to think about, where do you see that there's a gap in the world for something that you might be able to bring to the world, basically. So is there a gap? Is there something that's needed? And do you think you can fulfill that gap in a way that is unique to you? And I do feel like there is nothing new under the sun being stopped because somebody else is already doing it, or because you've seen it done before. Somebody might like what you do, better than the way someone else does it. And I have an investor friend who basically says to me, if you're gonna fail, it's fine, just fail fast. And that's like my favorite sentence. If you ask my team, I say fail fast to everyone all the time. I don't care what you're gonna do, try it, see how it works. If it fails, whatever, hurry up and fail until you get whatever you need to do right, because everything fails at least once or twice or 3 times, and in all the failings you have, there's totally learnings. The best thing I would say is just try, is just to start something that you want to do, and if it's gonna fail, let it happen. And I also say that there's people who are scared of losing money. Honestly, if you don't fear money, you will never not have enough. And we are so lucky that we live in a world where you'll never go hungry, and more than likely you'll never go homeless, especially if you're in the West. Now, I'm not talking about in other places, but the worst that could happen is that you lose some money and you have to start building it up again. Like, it's really not that bad. You might have to live with your mum, you might have to live with a family member. So many entrepreneurs started out like that. They've lived in garages, they've lived in in the streets, that they have lived in their parents' houses till they were 45. And I think that if you're someone who doesn't like to take risks, and if you're someone who is scared of failing, potentially entrepreneurship is not for you. But another thing I also think is really important is that read as many books as you possibly can. So rather than you making a mistake, learn from people who've already made the mistake. I love that. Who did I get that from? Ty Lopez. He reads a book a day, and it was the concept of he reads so much because he'll rather learn from somebody else than making those mistakes. And I think that's so valuable and really important. Right, so moving on to YouTube specifically, because this is something I get asked about all the time. Number 1 is, what camera do I use? I use a 6D with the EF 35mm lens, and I use a Rode mic on top. I personally don't think that people need to use 6Ds. I think the 80D or the 70D is really suitable and much more affordable. My camera, was around 2 grand. My lens is about £1,000, and mic's like £250. You can start off making YouTube videos with £500 to £600, and I mean, that's a couple of people's nights out, in a month. Stay in your yard and save some money if you would like to make videos. In regards to lighting, you can get umbrella lights on Amazon for £25, and then you can upgrade if you need to, but natural lighting is absolutely amazing for shooting videos as well. And the best tip I have for starting out is to basically do what you're interested, do something that you feel is going to add value to either you or to somebody. Don't just, and potentially you can do things where you're just enjoying yourself, just staring at yourself in the mirror, but overall, how do you add value back to the world that you live in? And I think that's what it is. When I used to do tutorials, and even with a haul video, as much as people think that a haul video is a bit indulgent, haul videos are some of my most popular videos because I'm showing girls what's out in the shops. I'm providing them with links to a bargain that I saw, and I was like, oh, I love this, and I like that. I've been looking for something like that for ages. When I started on YouTube, I was doing Primark hauls and be like, girls, I found this, just the way I would share it with my sister or my cousin or something like that. It was a way to show people what you've got, not because like, oh, look at me, I'm so amazing. It's like, girl, so it's a value in a way that not everybody's going to understand. You may have a different way to add value. Also, my tip when it comes to starting business is going to be a bit boring, but it is to get your numbers and your accounting on lock. When you really start making money, it's very important to know how to do your accounting. A lot of people, I have an accountant, of course, but I know every single balance sheet, every single profit and loss statement. I do invoices myself, and I know lots of people do not, but you need to learn the process of money coming in, money coming out, and understanding your cash flow. so important. So my favorite accounting tools are basically Xero and QuickBooks, and I think I prefer Xero more. I'll put links in the description bar below so you can check those out. But basically it's so important to know how much money you have coming in, when it's in, who your outstanding debtors, what are your outstanding expenses. And because I have a product-based business, it's really important for me to know how much cash I have to basically use on my stock. And you know, some people go to the site and I'm out of stock, and it's a case of, you know, the money that was meant to come in hasn't come in, and we haven't used the money on the stock. And it's crazy. If you don't have your cash flow on lock, the struggle is really real. But I don't want to get into too much detail because that's really hard. But before you start thinking about, you know, your business, think about how to manage your accounting and make sure you pay your taxes. And you'll realize that there are people who are multi-millionaires who've gone bankrupt 2 to 3 times over because they haven't paid their taxes, and it's not a joke. So be on top of, you know, what do they say? Pay Caesar what is due to Caesar, and that's very important. And my last tip is, whatever you're gonna do it to the best of your ability. Do not do things half-assed, because you will get half-assed results. And it's so funny, I found this over and over. When I do this thing where I like say, I hone in, I like make a vow to myself. I'm like, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. Every single time I dedicate myself to something, it literally goes through the roof every single time. And I know that some of you guys might be at school or multitasking, and you might have like a little bit of an idea. What I would say is that, right, I've got a job right now, but this is the idea that I have. You better do your job, and you might need to sacrifice a lot to focus on the thing that you want to do. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was you know, on growing my YouTube channel and my business, I worked every single Saturday and Sunday. Like I basically only stopped working weekends since I had my baby. Like I worked every single weekend. I did not go out. I did not do coffee, my coffee wear. There's work to be done. There's filming to be done. There's editing to be done, because I dedicated my entire self to it. And if you're not willing to sacrifice for anything that you want to do, the likelihood is you're not going to get very far in it. You don't have to be the smartest, you don't have to be the most beautiful, you just need to be the most dedicated. And I think Will Smith said this, he's like, he's not the most talented person out of all of the actors who are out there. He's not the smartest, he's not the best looking, but he basically gives his entire whole being to what he does. And I think that is so important. No matter how old you are, or whoever you are, or what you're doing, you have to give your entirety to it to really reap the results. Anyway guys, that got a little bit preachy, didn't it? You know what I'm like. You know what I'm like. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video and you found it useful, and let me know what you want to see next. So thanks for watching guys. Bye.